Hello Year 5 and welcome to this week's science lessons. And this lesson, our first lesson of the week, is about understanding renewable and non-renewable energy, moving on from last week. Can you begin by pausing the presentation here and writing the learning objective, date and starter subheading, please. Now our starter. Think back to last lesson's learning about radiation and draw a spidergram outlining what you can remember. Now these are some pointers that you can use. You don't have to use them all. What are the types of radiation we learned about? What types could be harmful? What is radiation? What emits radiation? Where is radiation found in everyday life? And where is radiation found in high levels? Can you draw your spider diagram? And don't worry, you don't have to answer all of these questions, but these are just pointers or hints about what you could write about. So spend about 5 minutes drawing your spider diagram and writing some things that you can remember about radiation. So pause the presentation here and do that, please. Now, thinking back, this is just a little recap on radiation and things that you might have written in your spider diagram. So last week we learned about nuclear fission and radiation. Nuclear fission is a splitting of the atom and occurs in a nuclear reactor. The nuclear reactor's purpose is to produce energy, okay, which links into today's lesson. But also what it releases, whilst it causes a sort of the release of a lot of energy, it also causes the release of radiation. And lots of radiation is given off as a byproduct during nuclear fission. Radiation is also given off naturally in the world around us. Thinking back to last week, there was radiation emitted in food, travel, buildings, in the earth around us, and it's emitted through alpha particles, beta particles and gamma rays. And nuclear fission gives off energy which is used for power, which we just mentioned. And this is what we're learning about today. So nuclear energy or nuclear fission is an example of a non-renewable energy source, and we're going to first learn about renewable energy sources. So renewable and non-renewable energy. First of all, can we just write the heading of quick task, and can you write a definition of what you think non-renewable and renewable energy means, please? So renewable energy and non-renewable energy. Here are some hints and some clues about which one could be related to which. So just spend 5 minutes, please. Pause the presentation here and spend 5 minutes writing what you think or your definitions of renewable energy and non-renewable energy. Pause the presentation here and do that, please. Now, here are some definitions. Renewable and non-renewable energy. So renewable energy is useful energy that is collected from renewable sources which are naturally replenished. And non-renewable energy comes from sources which will run out or will not be replenished in our lifetimes. And we're going to see examples of both just coming up now. And can you just take your purple pens out? And could you add any of these, add to your definitions that you've already written? And can you add anything that you might have missed off, any important vocabulary? Renewable energy sources. So here's a few. First of all, wind energy. Wind turbines are used to convert wind energy to electricity. The wind blows the blades around and this movement is converted into electricity. A group of wind turbines called a wind farm, and you might have seen them dotted around, especially the Pennines area. Solar energy, and solar energy comes from the sun, and the sun can be used to give us heat energy as well as be converted into electricity. So we convert the sunlight into electricity and heat energy. And we use solar panels for these, and you might have seen them on the roofs of houses, or you might have seen them in what are called solar farms, where there's lots of solar panels lined up next to each other and pointed towards the sun. And geothermal energy. It's always very warm underground, even if it is very cold on the surface, and we can collect the heat from these underground sources and use it to heat our houses. Renewable energy. Here's a couple more examples. So we've got biomass energy, and biomass means natural material. Energy can be obtained by burning natural waste materials such as scrap pieces of wood or dead trees and unused parts of crops. You can even burn the gas produced by cow manure to make energy. And hydro energy. Hydro energy is energy that comes from moving water water that flows down very fast, and flowing rivers are used to spin turbines that generate electricity. The movement of big waves at sea can also be used to generate electricity. So these are all called renewable energy sources because the energy sources that they come from are constantly available and are easily renewed. So rivers are always flowing, sun can be shining, wind can be blowing, and biomass energy and geothermal energy are always being produced. But think about, why can't we use renewable energy all of the time? Think about the renewable energy source we've just learned about. Why do you think we can't just use renewable energy sources all the time? Write your ideas as bullet points below your quick task ideas. So can you write, I think we can't use renewable energy sources all the time because. Now think about what we have to rely on for these different sources of energy that we've just learned about. Are they always available, do you think? So can you just pause the presentation here and just write what you think? Spend around 5 minutes. Now, why can't we use renewable energy all the time? Some of these points you might have mentioned. Renewable energy sources such as wind or sunshine can't be stored to be used whenever we need it. We're relying on the wind and sunshine to be present, aren't we? We can't just store wind or store sunshine. We have to rely on it being present. So if the wind doesn't blow, or if it isn't very sunny, then there may not be enough power for everyone to be used whenever we need it. So if we relied solely on solar energy or wind energy, then we would be hoping and praying for really windy days or really sunny days all the time, which doesn't happen. Non-renewable resources such as oil or coal can be stored and used whenever they are needed. So we can stockpile oil and we can stockpile coal, but we can't stockpile wind or sunshine. And non-renewable energy is usually cheaper than renewable energy, which means not everyone can afford to use renewable energy. So some of these examples you might have mentioned in your own comments. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you write. Non-renewable energy. So here are some examples of non-renewable energy. We've got oil. Oil is found deep underground and pumped up to the surface for us to use. Oil is burned at some power stations to make electricity and is also used to make fuel, which we can use in our cars. If we keep using oil, there will eventually be none left. Coal. Similar situation with coal as well. Coal is mined from under the ground and burned in large power stations to produce electricity. The coal that we use cannot be replaced, so one day there will be no coal left. And burning coal is bad for the environment because it causes a lot of carbon dioxide to be released into the atmosphere. So this can obviously contribute to global warming as well. Natural gas. Natural gas is found deep underground, is pumped into our homes, and we use it to cook and burn in a boiler to heat our water. And the gas that we pump from underground will one day run out, and there won't be any left for us to use. And nuclear energy. Nuclear power stations use uranium as fuel to make electricity. Uranium is a natural resource taken from the ground, so it's not renewable. Nuclear power doesn't produce much waste, so it's a very clean way of generating energy. So these are our non-renewable energy sources examples because they rely on the energy sources that they rely on are finite. So, for example, gas, there isn't an unlimited amount of gas, and there isn't an unlimited amount of uranium. These are the uranium atoms are the atoms that we shoot our neutrons at. Right, our task today is to draw a line down the middle of your page with the headings advantages of renewable energy and disadvantages of renewable energy. So we're focused on renewable energy. So our solar energy, our wind energy, geothermal energy, and biomass energy and hydro energy. So advantages of renewable energy and disadvantages of renewable energy. Can you spend a couple of minutes just drawing this table quickly in your down the middle of your books, please? Right, now can you write the following points under the correct headings based on what we've learned today? So feel free to go back on our video and look at our different energy sources to help. So we need, can you write the correct statements under advantage of renewable energy or disadvantage of renewable energy. Now you can spend around 20 minutes doing this, please. So pause the presentation here and complete that for me, please. And here are our answers. So take your purple pens out and can you mark your answers? And if there are any that you've got incorrect, just draw a quick arrow pointing to the other side, so then you don't have to rub out or you don't have to erase anything and write it again. Plenary. Here's what we're going to think about for the next lesson. So around 10% of the world's power is generated from nuclear power. Given what we've learned about the possible dangers, advantages and disadvantages of nuclear power and other power sources, do you think we should be increasing or decreasing power production in nuclear power plants? Explain your reasons. So remember, nuclear power is quite clean and doesn't contribute to global warming, but it does produce a lot of radiation which could be problematic. And it's also a non-renewable energy source. So can you just write a quick sentence about what you think about this question? Spend about 5 minutes on this and then we're all finished. So well done for today, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you think about this. See you next time. Bye-bye.